Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to the new channel with us, a freelancing Wali. So today I'm here with the new Maya session. So new Maya topic is what's the science behind sleep and dreams. So hello Maya, how are you? Are you ready for my
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing great, and I am definitely ready. Sleep and dreams are such a trip. There's so much going on in the brain while we're just lying there. Where do you want to start?
Maya? Thank you so much. So Maya, my first question is from you. Please tell me why do humans need sleep and what happens to the brain during sleep? Answer me, Maya.
Basically, sleep is like a nightly maintenance mode for your body and brain. While you're out, your brain isn't just shutting off, it's actually incredibly active. One of the coolest things happening is called synaptic pruning. Your brain basically cleans house, clearing out useless information and strengthening the memories and skills you actually need. It's also when the glymphatic system kicks in, think of it as a waste clearance system that flushes out toxins that build up during the day. If we don't do this, things start to fray. That's why you feel foggy, irritable, and can't focus when you're sleep deprived. Your brain literally hasn't had time to reset. Does that make sense? Or do you want to dive deeper into a specific part of that process?
Okay, so Maya, thank you so much. So Maya, my next question is from you, Dad. Please tell me, why do we dream at night and what is REM to sleep? Answer me, Maya.
Honestly, scientists are still debating the why, but the most popular theory is that dreaming is a way for our brain to process emotions and organize the day's events. So it's like a mental filing system. Your brain takes everything you experience and decides what to keep and what to toss. Some think it's also a sort of threat simulation where your brain practices how to handle stressful situations in a safe environment so you're better prepared in real life. That's why dreams can feel so chaotic or intense. Your brain is just running experiments. Do you usually remember your dreams or do they just vanish the moment you wake up?
Thank you so much. So Maya, my next question is from you, Dad. Please tell me, how many hours of sleep do people need, and why do some people remember dreams? Answer me, Maya.
For most adults, the sweet spot is usually between 7 and 9 hours, though everyone's different. Some people are just naturally short sleepers and feel great on 6, while others really need a full 9 to function. When you cut that short, you're not just tired, you're actually skipping out on the deep sleep in REM cycles, where the real repair work happens. As for remembering dreams, it usually comes down to when you wake up. We dream most vividly during REM sleep. If you wake up right in the middle of a REM cycle, the dream is still fresh in your short term memory and you can recall it clearly. If you wake up during a lighter stage of sleep, the dream often just slips away. Some people also just have a more active habit of reflecting on their dreams, which makes them more likely to stick. Do you find that you remember yours more when you're stressed, or is it pretty consistent for you?
Thank you so much for asking, Maya. My next question is from you, Dad. Please tell me, what causes nightmares and why do we feel tired without sleep? Answer me, Maya.
Nightmares usually happen when your brain's emotional center, the amygdala, gets a bit too fired up during REM sleep. It's often your mind's way of trying to process things that feel overwhelming or scary in your waking life. It could be something big, like a major life change or trauma, or something smaller, like a stressful day at work or even a movie you watched right before bed. Sometimes physical things trigger them too, like eating a heavy meal late at night, which speeds up your metabolism and makes your brain more active while you sleep, or certain medications that mess with your brain chemistry. It's basically like your brain is trying to solve a problem while you're unconscious, but it turns into a scary movie instead of a helpful lesson. Now, as for feeling tired without actually lacking sleep, that's a different beast entirely. There's a huge difference between being sleepy and being exhausted. You can get 8 hours of shut eye and still wake up feeling like you've been hit by a truck because of the quality of your sleep. If you're waking up throughout the night, even if you don't remember it, you're interrupting those deep sleep and REM cycles I mentioned earlier. If you don't get enough of those, your brain never actually finishes its maintenance mode, so you wake up feeling drained. Beyond that, there's mental and emotional fatigue. When you're dealing with high levels of stress, anxiety, or burnout, your brain is essentially running a marathon in the background, consumes a massive amount of energy, leaving you feeling physically exhausted even if you slept plenty. Dehydration, a poor diet, or just sitting in one place for too long can also trick your body into feeling lethargic. It's your body's way of saying it needs a different kind of rest, maybe mental quiet or physical movement, rather than just more hours in bed. Does that cover what you were looking for, or is there a specific kind of tiredness you've been noticing?
Thank you so much for your nice answer. So my next question is from you, Dad. Please tell me, how do sleep help memory and can dreams have meanings? Answer me.
Sleep is basically the secret weapon for your memory. When you're awake, I'm not quite sure I follow. Who are we surprising and how do you want to do it? Give me more context. I'm sorry, I'm having a really hard time following that. It sounds like you're asking about sleep, but then it jumps to mammoths and money? I didn't quite catch that. Could you say it again or explain what you mean? Sleep is basically the secret weapon for your memory. When you're awake, your brain takes in a massive amount of information, but it's all kind of messy and temporary. When you sleep, your brain moves that info from short term storage to long term storage. This is called memory consolidations. It's like your brain is taking all the loose notes from your day and filing them into a permanent cabinet so you can actually find them later. If you don't sleep, those notes just get lost, which is why you can't remember things as well after an all nighter. As for dreams having meanings, it depends on who you ask. From a scientific view, dreams are more about processing emotions than they are about hitting codes. So, if you dream about your teeth falling out or being chased, it's usually not a prediction of the future. It's more likely a reflection of feeling out of control or anxious about something in your real life. Your brain uses symbols to represent feelings because it doesn't use a formal language while you're dreaming. So, while a dream might not have a dictionary definition, it can definitely tell you a lot about your current emotional state if you look at how it made you feel. Do you think your dreams are usually reflecting your real life or are they just totally random?
Thank you so much for asking, Maya. My next question is from you, Dad. Please tell me, what are the stages of sleep and why do we yawn when sleepy? Answer.
Sleep happens in stages, and it's kind of like a cycle that repeats throughout the night. First, you have light sleep. That's where you're just drifting off and can be easily woken up. Then you hit deep sleep, which is the physical repair stage. This is where your body releases growth hormones to fix tissues and build muscle. Finally, you hit REM sleep, rapid eye movement, which is where the most vivid dreaming happens and your brain does its heavy emotional processing. As for why we young or feel refreshed when we sleep, it's because of those growth hormones and the cleaning process I mentioned earlier. While you're in deep sleep, your body is working overtime to repair cells and clear out the waste from your brain. It's basically like a nightly rejuvenation treatment. When you wake up after a good night's sleep, you feel younger or fresher because your body has literally spent hours repairing the wear and tear from the day. Does that make sense? Or do you want to know more about one of those specific stages?
How much for asking, Maya? My next question is from you, Dad. Please tell me, can animals dream too, and why do dream something feel real? Answer me, Maya. I'm waiting for your nice answer.
Pretty much every animal with a complex brain likely dreams. If you've ever seen a dog twitching its paws or making like little muffled barks in its sleep, they're almost certainly dreaming. They have similar sleep cycles to us, including REM sleep. So it makes total sense that they're processing their day, probably dreaming about chasing squirrels or playing fetch. As for why dreams feel so real, it's because the parts of your brain that handle sensory experiences like sight, sound, and touch are actually firing while you're asleep. Your brain is creating a simulation that's like so convincing because it's using the same neural pathways it uses when you're awake. The only reason we realize it was a dream is that the logical part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, is mostly powered down. Without that logic center to say, wait, I can't actually fly, your brain just accepts whatever the simulation throws at it as absolute truth. Ever had a dream that felt so real you woke up feeling the emotions from it, like you were actually sad or excited?
Maya, thank you so much. Maya, my next question is from you, Dad. Please tell me, what is deep sleep and why is good sleep important for health? Answer me, Maya. I'm waiting.
Deep sleep, which scientists call slow wave sleep, is the most restorative phase of your entire night. If light sleep is like a quick nap, deep sleep is like a full system overhaul. During this stage, your heart rate and breathing slow down to their lowest levels, and your brain waves become very slow and rhythmic. This is the critical window where your body does its heaviest lifting. It releases growth hormones to repair tissues, build muscle, and strengthen your immune system. It's also when your brain's trash collection system, the glymphatic system, is most active, flushing out the toxins that build up while you're awake. If you don't get enough deep sleep, you can wake up feeling physically sore and mentally exhausted, even if you were in bed for 8 hours. Mhm. Now, as for why having good sleep is so essential for your overall health, it's because sleep isn't just a break from your day, it's a biological necessity. When you prioritize quality sleep, you're essentially protecting every single organ in your body. Your heart gets a break, your blood pressure drops, and your insulin levels stabilize, which helps prevent things like heart disease and diabetes. From a mental health perspective, good sleep is like a reset button for your emotions. It helps you regulate your mood and manage stress. Without it, the amygdala, the part of the brain that handles fear and anger, becomes hyperreactive, which is why everything feels more overwhelming when you're tired. Basically, sleep is the foundation that everything else is built on. You can eat the healthiest food and exercise every day, but if you aren't sleeping, your body can't actually process those benefits or repair the damage from your workouts. It's the ultimate health insurance. Does that give you the level of detail you were looking for, or do you want to know how to actually get into that deep sleep phase more easily?
Maya, thank you so much. Maya, my next question is from you, Dad. Please tell me, what is sleepwalking and why do some dream repeat? Answer me.
I think you mean sleepwalking, right? That's a wild phenomenon. Sleepwalking or somnambulism happens when your brain gets stuck in a weird middle ground between deep sleep and being awake. Usually, during deep sleep, your brain sends a signal to your muscles to basically paralyze them so you don't actually act out your dreams. But for sleepwalkers, that switch doesn't fully flip. Part of the brain that controls movement wakes up, but the part that handles conscious awareness and logic stays fast asleep. So you might get up, walk around the house, or even do complex things like make a sandwich, all while your mind is completely unconscious. It's often triggered by stress, sleep deprivation, or even certain medications. The most important thing is that you should never shake a sleepwalker awake violently. because they'll be incredibly confused and might react with fear or aggression since they're waking up from a deep state. It's better to gently guide them back to bed. Now, as for repeating dreams, those are fascinating. When a dream keeps coming back, it's usually a sign that your brain is trying to process an unresolved issue. Remember how I said dreams are like a mental filing system? Blah, blah, blah. A recurring dream is basically a file that your brain can't figure out where to put. It keeps bringing the same scenario up because there's a emotion or a conflict in your waking life that you haven't fully dealt with yet. For example, if you keep dreaming that you're failing a test or arriving late to something, it's rarely about the test or the clock. It's usually about a deeper feeling of inadequacy, a fear of failure, or the pressure to perform in your real life. Your brain is essentially saying, "Hey, we still haven't solved this feeling, so let's try to simulate it again and see if we can figure it out this time." Sometimes these dreams repeat because they're tied to a specific trigger in your environment, like a certain sound or a stressful routine. Other times, they are just a habit of the brain. Once a certain neural pathway is carved out for a dream, the brain might just default to that path when you're in a similar emotional state. The good news is that once you identify what the dream is actually about, the emotion behind it, not the plot, and you deal with that stress in your waking life, the dreams often stop. It's like your brain finally found the right folder for that file and can finally close it. Does that hit the mark for you? Do you have any recurring dreams that you've been trying to figure out?
So Maya, thank you so much for a nice answer. So Maya, my next question is from you. Dad, please tell me what happens if we don't sleep enough, and how does the brain create dreams? Answer me, Maya. I'm waiting for your.
If you don't sleep enough, it's like trying to run a computer that's never been restarted. Everything starts to glitch. At first you get brain fog where your focus slips and you can't quite find the right words. But as the deprivation continues, it gets a lot more serious. Your emotional regulation completely breaks down because the connection between your prefrontal cortex, the logical part, and your amygdala, the emotional part, gets weak. This is why you might snap at someone or feel like crying over something tiny when you're exhausted. Long term, it's even riskier. Your immune system crashes. And because the brain isn't flushing out those toxins I mentioned, it can actually increase the risk of cognitive decline over time. In extreme cases, you can even experience microsleeps where your brain just shuts off for a few seconds while you're wide awake, which is incredibly dangerous if you're driving. As for how the brain actually creates a dream, it's a bit like a movie director who's had too much coffee and lost the script. During REM sleep, the pons, a part of your brainstem, sends signals to your cerebral cortex to start generating images and stories. But because the logical editor in your prefrontal cortex is mostly offline, the brain just starts stitching together random memories, current emotions, and sensory fragments. It's a process called activation synthesis. The brain receives random electrical impulses and tries to make sense of them by synthesizing them into a narrative. That's why you might be in your childhood home, but your teacher is there, and suddenly you're floating in space. Your brain is just grabbing whatever bits of data are floating around and trying to create a story that fits the emotion you're feeling. Does that make the movie in your head seem a bit more logical, or does it make it even weirder?
Okay, so Maya, thank you so much. So Maya, my next question is from you. Dad, please tell me why do babies sleep so much, and why is Usman Mani? Answer me, Maya. Waiting for.
I'm sorry, I'm really struggling to follow that one. It sounds like you're mentioning a team from Vermont. I'm not quite sure what the question is or what we're talking about. Could you try saying that again or explain it a bit differently for me?
So Maya, I'm saying that why do we forget more dreams, and can dreams predict the future? Please.
The reason we forget most of our dreams is actually because our brain isn't designed to store them. When you're dreaming, the chemical levels in your brain, specifically norepinephrine, which is key for memory, drop significantly. Your brain is in processing mode, not recording mode. It's basically like your brain is watching a movie but forgot to hit the record button. If you don't wake up directly from the dream and consciously think about it or write it down within the first few minutes, the memory just evaporates because it never made the jump from short term to long term storage. It's the brain's way of clearing out the noise so we don't confuse our dream life with our actual reality. As for predicting the future, that's where things get interesting, but it's usually no magic. Most of the time, what feels like a predictive dream is actually just your brain being an incredible pattern recognition machine. Your subconscious picks up on thousands of tiny clues while you're awake: a colleague's subtle change in tone, a weird sound your car is making, or a shift in a friend's behavior that your conscious mind totally ignores. Then, while you're sleeping, your brain connects those dots and simulates a likely outcome. If that outcome actually happens, it feels like a prophecy, but it was really just a very educated guess based on data you already had. There's also something called confirmation bias. We have thousands of dreams that don't come true and we forget them instantly. But the one time a dream happens to align with a real life event, we remember it vividly and think, wow, I predicted that. It's more about probability and pattern recognition than actually seeing the future. Do you believe in premonitions, or do you think it's all just the brain doing its own version of data analysis?
Maya, thank you so much. So, Maya, please give me last advice to my
You're so welcome. This was a great session. We really covered everything from the brain's trash collection to predictive dreams. Are we wrapping things up here, or is there anything else you want to dive into?
Maya, thank you so much. So, viewers, I ended this session. This is my Maya. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching.